It's the third season that the Yamaha bLU cRU have supported the Superbike World Championship as the first step on the World SBK roadway. But this is the first with full European Championship status. Once again, the overall winner in 2023 will earn a Yamaha-supported ride for the next step in their careers, the Supersport 300 World Championship, where no less than 7 graduates are already competing this season. 8 members of the class of 22, meanwhile, are staying on, among a 19-rider field, representing 12 nationalities spanning 4 different continents. Each took part in their induction at Misano, a fortnight before the opening round at the TT Circuit Assen, the first of 6, each comprising 2 races. And it was a new name, Aldi Satya Mahendra, who took pole for the Dutch round. The 16-year-old Indonesian, impressive in a substitute outing in Supersport 300 at Catalonia last year, picked up the early lead in race 1 on the 27 bike, heading an 8-rider group that had broken away by the end of the opening lap. Number 9, Emiliano Ercolani, was next to sweep to the front of the field. The 18-year-old made a wildcard appearance at his home round in Misano last season and ran inside the top 10 throughout the weekend. Now as a series regular, he looks a title contender. With the longest straight in Assen measuring just 487 metres, the slipstream advantage is somewhat reduced. So despite having been outside of the lead group in 10th at the end of lap 1, the 56 of Valentin Arnaud was able to latch back on and surge into contention as the fastest man out there on lap 2. The Frenchman eventually came home 6th, comfortably bettering his best result of 13th place from last year. 6th in the inaugural Yamaha Cup, a podium finisher as well in 2021, Mark Vick starts this season among the favourites, and he swept through to the front on the number 96 with 4 laps to go. A lead that only lasted as far as to Strubben, as a wide line from the Mallorcan opened the door to Ercolani to recover. The number 92 of Evan Plandu found his way past the pair of them, meaning the 2 men who earned supported places on the grid for 2023 via the R3 Super Finale in Portimao last season sat for the first time 1 and 2 in the European Championship. And Mark Vick was pushed back as far as 6th place, where he sat coming into the final lap. The lead group thinned in the meanwhile as Luca Frey collected early race leader Mahendra, bringing him down and leaving the unfortunate David Novak nowhere to go but the gravel trap to avoid him. Novak retired from the race while Mahendra remounted for 12th. Now it was up to Plandu to attempt the defence of his lead from 5 close rivals. Emiliano Ercolani used every inch of the track in an effort to make it through. Mark Vick bravely rode the curb, and the shortest route gave him top spot coming into the Geerttimmer curve for the final time. Plandu was squeezed out by Kevin Fontana and could only rejoin 7th, the Brazilian capitalising to take 3rd, and Ercolani finally won the drag race to the line to pip Vick by less than 1/10 of a second.
So I'm very happy. This race I learned of the best position on the last lap, and it's 2nd, and I take the Shia and I win.
Race 2 got underway in damp conditions later in the day, but after a fall for 15-year-old Turkish rookie Mart Konuk on the opening lap, a red flag forced an early stoppage. When the race restarted almost half an hour later, a sharp wind had helped to dry the track, and this time all 19 riders made it to the end of a slightly cautious opening lap. From there, the times quickly tumbled, the distance having been reduced to a frantic 6-lap sprint. A larger group of 12 riders this time formed at the front, and they were ultimately separated by little more than a second across the line, aside from Evan Plandu, who fell from 7th after contact with Eduardo Burr at half-race distance. But all eyes were on Gustavo Manso. The number 80 won 3 of the final 4 races last season and started this campaign among the favourites. He was left on the back of the grid for race 2 following a crash that left him with a knock to his ankle in Superpole, and then missed race 1 before returning to the track to demonstrate more of his fine form. By the start of the penultimate lap, he'd completed his recovery from last to first. Staying in front, though, was another matter, and as he looked over his shoulder down Assen's longest straight for the final time, he almost inevitably fell prey to the pack. Ercolani and Fontana podium finishers in race 1, and Eduardo Burr, the 16-year-old now in his 3rd season on the R3, appeared to have come through at just the right time. Burr defended vigorously, forcing Ercolani off the track altogether, and Fontana nipped through to split the pair. But post-race penalties for all 3 of them promoted Manso to top spot, the perfect result for him to get his championship challenge up and running. Ercolani nonetheless tops the scorers from the Dutch round, 6 points ahead of Kevin Fontana, the only rider to make both podiums. The action resumes in less than a fortnight's time with the Catalunya round in Barcelona.